Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are exploring how several totally fascinating authors and thinkers suggest we completely rethink our relationship with the one thing we all spend our days trying to avoid. I'm talking about challenges, obstacles, and just flat-out problems. We spend so much energy trying to craft this perfectly smooth, easy life. But what if, according to these experts, that exact mindset is what's draining our motivation and keeping us stuck? Okay, let's dive into this. The authors we're looking at point out a really interesting paradox in our language right out of the gate. Why do we constantly say that we hate problems? We all claim to want this perfectly smooth, hassle-free existence, but our language actually reveals something a bit deeper about how we view the world. Think about it. When someone is really struggling, when they're emotionally sick or lost in life, the phrase we immediately use is, "Oh, they've got problems." We tend to automatically equate having problems with being unwell and the complete absence of problems with being happy. But these thinkers are asking us to consider if that's actually true.
There is a stark contrast between how we view problems for ourselves versus how we view them for our children. As adults, we desperately desire that hassle-free existence, right? We spend immense energy arranging our lives to avoid any bumps in the road. But look at how we treat childhood growth. When a teacher tells you in an open house that your kid is going to be working way more math problems this year than last year, you don't panic, you don't call the principal, you likely think that's absolutely wonderful. But why is it wonderful when kids get more problems to solve, but somehow terrible when we do? The argument here is that deep down, in that place where our real wisdom lives, we actually know problems are good for our children. Solving problems is exactly how kids become more self-sufficient. It's how they learn to trust their own minds and start seeing themselves as capable problem solvers. Yet as we grow up, we somehow lose that perspective entirely.
Section 1. Monsters versus mind games. Let's change your perspective. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these authors map out two starkly different choices for how we can view our daily challenges, which fundamentally changes our daily experience. On the left, we have the superstitious view. In this view, we've literally demonized our problems to such a degree that they become like monsters living under the bed. We view them as curses, we run from them all day, and because we didn't face them, we lie awake and tremble over them at night. But then on the right side is the athlete's view. This is all about acting like athletes of the mind. To an athlete, a problem isn't a curse. It's a tough, stimulating game. And true athletes always long to get a game going. They don't run from the field, they run onto it. This brings us to a legendary figure, the insurance giant W. Clement Stone. When people would bring their massive, stressful problems to him, he used to enthusiastically shout out, "You've got a problem? That's great!" Honestly, given our culture's deep, ingrained superstition about problems, it's a wonder someone didn't shoot him for saying that. It sounds almost offensive to someone who feels cursed by their circumstances. But Stone understood that problems are simply not to be feared. They're the arena where we actually get to play. Section 2. The Spirit of Play. Let's look at a new approach. In his famous book, The Road Less Traveled, M. Scott Peck laid out a central theme that completely shifts the paradigm. He wrote that problems call forth our wisdom and our courage. The idea is that without the problem, the wisdom and courage just sit there. They're totally dormant, never getting a chance to be utilized or strengthened. Building on this, the author Steve Chandler suggests that one of the absolute best ways to approach a problem is in a spirit of play. He recommends thinking about it exactly the same way you would approach a chess game or a challenge to play some one-on-one playground basketball. You're engaged, you're trying to win, but fundamentally, you are playing. Chandler suggests a specific mental exercise for when we feel stuck. Step 1, approach the problem in that spirit of play. When you're faced with a situation that seems totally hopeless and heavy, go to step 2 and ask yourself, what is a funny way to solve this problem? Then step 3, what would be a completely hilarious solution? It sounds ridiculous, right? But the authors argue that asking for a hilarious solution to a hopeless problem literally never fails to open up fresh, new avenues of thought. It instantly breaks the tension and shifts your brain out of that monster-fearing mode and right into creative problem-solving mode. Section 3. Finding the hidden gift. Finding value in adversity.
So, the crucial point is perfectly captured by Richard Bach, the author of Illusions. He says, every problem in your life carries a gift inside it. Bach argues that we have to be thinking this way first or the gift will never ever appear. If a person is entirely focused on the curse, they are going to be completely blind to the gift. These thinkers suggest that we have to consciously choose to look for it. To show just how profound this concept really is, we can look at the groundbreaking studies of natural healing by Dr. Andrew Weil. He proposed a deeply challenging concept, one that pushes way back against conventional thinking, that we should even regard illness as a gift. According to Weil, illness can be such a powerful stimulus to change that perhaps it's the only thing capable of forcing some people to resolve their deepest conflicts. He posits that even in our physical health, the absolute hardest problems can be an incredible opportunity for profound growth.
Dr. Weil wrote that seeing illness as a misfortune, especially an undeserved one, may actually obstruct the body's healing system. Conversely, successful patients often come to regard their illness as the greatest opportunity they ever had for personal growth and development. By coming to see the illness as a gift that allows you to grow, you may literally unlock your own healing system. Weil's research suggests that the way we frame our absolute worst challenges can have a tangible physical impact on our ability to overcome them. It's a real game changer.
Section 4. The Motivation Shift. Rising Energy. Let's move to and see how this builds, tying these philosophical concepts directly back to your daily motivation and energy. And this brilliantly illustrates a final takeaway regarding our energy. If problems are viewed as curses, if we're constantly running from those monsters under the bed, the motivation we are desperately looking for in life is going to be incredibly hard to find. We'll just be exhausted from running all the time. But if we can make that mental shift, if we learn to love the opportunities our problems present, exactly like an athlete stepping onto the court, then our motivational energy will naturally rise.
Which leads us to a final question based on these authors' perspectives. What gift is hiding inside your biggest problem right now? They challenge us to stop running from the monsters under the bed, turn around, look that problem right in the eye, and ask what the hilarious solution might be. They encourage us to look for the gift and start playing the game today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.